Hi, I'm Nishka, and this is my fake twin sister, Not Nishka. Not Nishka and I have the same genetic material, but in 20 years, we become pretty different people. While Not Nishka has heart problems, I run marathons. Why are we so different? Although the answer has a lot to do with nature versus nurture, we can find another related answer in the new field of epigenetics. To better understand this concept, let's look at an interesting study done on rats. Geneticists Ressler and Diaz paired the fruity smell of acetophenone with electric shocks that their lab rats quickly learned to fear. On top of that, they developed more sensitive olfactory systems, making them extra sensitive to the scent. The interesting part was that the rats' pups and the pups' pups were also terrified of the smell, even when they never smelt it before or they were never in contact with their fathers. So how could the rat pups inherit something their fathers learned? Basic genetics taught us that traits are passed down through generations. It encompasses all of the default physical traits one might express. Factors of the environment, like memories, scars, or big muscles, can't be passed down because acquiring them doesn't change the genetic code. But somehow, instilling fear in rats did trigger some changes. Not in the DNA itself, but in the way it was read or processed. In every cell, biological processes constantly translate DNA into the proteins needed to carry out vital processes. Chemical tags attached to the DNA mark which genes should be expressed, or turned on, and which genes should be silenced, or turned off. It regulates which proteins are formed and in what quantities. These chemical tags compose a secondary level of genetics called epigenetics, which literally means above genetics or on top of genetics. These tags explain why heart cells and liver cells are so different, even though they contain the same DNA. And you know what's even cooler? Epigenetic tags aren't permanent. This means you can change your entire lineage's phenotype without directly changing your genotype. By teaching those rats to fear the fruity smell, the geneticists influenced all of the epigenetic tags responsible for the smell-sensing gene. Although researchers don't know all the places where the tags were changed, they do know it happened in one key set of cells, the rat's sperm cells. This way, the tweaked genetic material could pass down to the next generation. Epigenetics doesn't only work on rats, but since it's probably unethical to shock humans every time they smell a piece of fruit, it's studied primarily using identical twins. Like me and Not Nishka. Our DNA is the same, but environmental factors can influence the way it's expressed using epigenetic tags. These tags can be influenced by almost anything: stress, diet, the way we work, what we work, pollutants in the air. This is why twins often grow up to be very different. These changes can also influence our future generations. Epigenetics has a lot of potential for curing diseases because epigenetic tags could be used to silence problematic genes. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to eat healthy to protect my future generations.